My name is Dr. Valerie Meyer-Spiridolozzi, and I teach Industrial and Systems Engineering here at the University of Rhode Island. The Yukon URI Navy STEM Coalition works with the National Institute for Undersea Vehicle Technology and our partners throughout the region who build submarines and support the U.S. defense industries. Come take a look what we're doing.
Hello, scientists and engineers. My name is Professor Dahl. I'm a professor at the University of Rhode Island in the Ocean Engineering Department. And one of the things that we do here is we study how animals, such as fish and octopus, swim, and how we can learn from them in order to engineer underwater vehicles, for example.
Hi everyone, my name is Riley Secor and I'm a graduate student here at the University of Rhode Island's Graduate School of Oceanography. My research focuses on the American lobster.
What plants and animals have you studied and what are their features? Come inside and let me show you what we're doing. Welcome to our lab. So this tank is what we call a flume. What a flume does is it allows us to move water around in a circle, and we can put things in the flume in order to study how fluid flows over them and understand how they interact in water. And this is one of the labs that we work with here at the University of Rhode Island. So one of the things that we can do with a flume or a flow channel like this is we can put animals in it and study how the animals swim. So sometimes we might put a shark in here and watch the shark swim, and then we use lasers in order to measure what that shark is doing. So it gets really exciting in this lab. When we look at sharks in the flume, or we look at other animals that swim in our flume, we can understand how they swim efficiently or how they swim well underwater. And we can learn about how can we make our underwater vehicles move like that, or how can we make our vehicles work better in the ocean. And that process, that's one of the things we study here, is what's called biomimetics. And biomimetics is when we study how animals live in their environment or operate in their environment, and then we use that information in order to engineer our vehicles or engineer things to help us that work just the way that animals do. So one of the things that we do in the lab here when we're studying animals and trying to learn how to design underwater vehicles that utilize the features that animals have, we can design models where we can study certain features of animals. So have any of you seen an octopus before? Or have you seen how an octopus swims? Let's observe an octopus swimming in the water and tell us what you see. Those are great observations. In order to study that process underwater, we've designed a model here that we can put in the flume, and we can go through a similar process where we change the shape of our vehicle here to go from a big bulky octopus down to a tight streamlined octopus. So one thing that we know about an octopus is when an octopus bulks its body up really big like this and then squeezes its body down, it allows the octopus to shoot forward through the water very quickly. And having that squished body shape helps it move and get away from something that's scaring it or go find its prey to get its next meal. And that's exciting for us when we want to study how we can use this for underwater vehicles, because it can allow us to make our vehicles move faster and more efficiently through the water. When we build vehicles, we have to use energy in order to make our vehicle move through the water. And if we can make it more easy for our vehicle to move through the water, we use less energy. And that's really important for the environment and for extending the life or the amount of time that our vehicle can operate underwater. Can you think of features of an animal that you would add to an underwater vehicle?
Those are all really cool features of animals. Do you mind if I show you some of the special features on my lobsters? Female lobsters have wide tails because they want to be able to carry as many eggs as possible. So the way that lobsters reproduce is that the female will carry the eggs under her tail for about 9 months, so the length of a human pregnancy. And then in the springtime, when the water starts to warm up, the female lobster will beat her tail and all the little baby lobsters will kind of go off into the water where they will become plankton, which means that they're not able to swim or move for themselves. They can only go where the water currents are taking them. One advantage to carrying your eggs under your tail is that the female lobster is better able to protect them and keep them safe. She has kind of lobster glue that sticks them all together and keeps them nice and tucked up in her tail. And then for those 9 months, she can keep them oxygenated and keep them guarded so that they're protected from things like predators. And most of the time, as the female lobster is walking around, because she carries the eggs on the underside of her tail, they're going to be protected from predators from above and nice and secure with the mother lobster. Think about your most prized possession. If you were to transport that, you would want to make sure it was safe, right? So what could you design that would keep your most prized possession safe as you traveled with it? So this lobster here was taken from the wild and has 2 different types of claws. A slicer claw, and then we have a crusher claw. The slicer tends to be a little bit thinner, whereas the crusher is a lot more wide. A lobster would use its slicer claw to tear apart soft things like fish that fall to the bottom of the ocean, and it would use its crusher claw to break open things like crab shells and clam shells so that it could have the dinner that's inside. You can see that on the crusher claw, the lobster has these very hard, white, calcified structures, and if you look closely, they kind of look like human teeth if you ask me. How would you take inspiration from this lobster? If you were trying to design something with 2 different tools, one for each purpose, what would you design it for and why? And what would that look like?
Those are great ideas. Using your ideas in order to design an underwater vehicle, that's what we call bio-inspired engineering. And bio-inspired engineering is when we look at what happens in nature, what animals do, and we're inspired by what they do in order to make some change or design something that helps humans, which is what engineers do. Using observations of sea creatures like fish and octopus inspires us to make design changes or to design new vehicles that can do new things underwater. If you were designing something to help your community, what animals would inspire you? What would you design?
If you're interested in aquatic life and other sea creatures, I hope to see you here one day at the URI Bay campus.
Come and visit us here at the University of Rhode Island. Ocean engineering is a unique career choice, and this is one of the only places that you can study this. Hope to see you on campus in the future. Bye.